And of course, I start with the botch because it wouldn't be a Jeff Meacham stream without a botch at the start. My goodness gracious. Welcome back to the Jeff Meacham Network, everybody. Yes, Big G, quite a game for you and your Steelers. Welcome, folks. This is the Jeff Meacham Network. No, this is not a mirage. No, this is not pre-taped. I am live as live gets, and it's been a long damn time since I produced one of my own streams. So thank you all for tuning in as you are, whether you're watching live with me here or on demand later. It is Monday, January 5th, 2026. It's already the 26th. And it's already the 5th. It's wild. But we are here. We are back. And it is, yes, I agree with Greg. F the Ratbirds. Because we're not quite 5 minutes in yet, so I'm not going to be swear guy yet. Yes, the Jeff Meacham Network is back. Yes, we are in full production. Let me go ahead and steal back the gimmick from Bruce Pritchard, as I have tried to do so many times in the last 10 years, I guess. I guess Bruce and Carmen have been on the air for 10 years, so good on them. It is the first Monday of January, first Monday of 2026. So, yes, let's indeed see how this all goes. I have been chomping at the bit to return to the air, and have had a few ideas stick to the plan. A few ideas go by the wayside, if we're being honest. Thanks to Peacock, the Thursday show was not completely useless. We will try to give it NWO retrospective in some form or fashion. I had planned on watching that stuff as I went week to week, and it's not going to work out now. So that is what it is, folks. But today's stream, as in the description, we're going to take one last look back at this admittedly shit show of a year. It's been a rough year. 2025, it was a rough year. It's over. It's done. It's in the past. It can't hurt you. It's in the past. As Rafiki says. But there were a lot of really good positives that I don't think get near enough love. So we will be talking about those. I'm going to throw some pictures up, some collages, if you will. And then we'll take a look at what's coming up this month on the Jeff Meacham Network, and then what's coming up tonight at the top of the next hour. Monday Night Raw is live for its year anniversary on Netflix. Championship matches across the board. And perhaps the return of one of the best ever to WWE. Again, time will tell. We'll see what happens once that show kicks off at the top of the hour. And as I said on the Twix, whatever you want to call it, you can catch all the action on Netflix, but with alternate commentary from our friends at the Simply Reliable Studios. Again, that's at the top of the next hour. This hour, however, is about me, and I'm selfish, so I'm going to make it about me. January was good. January was good to me and mine. Dylan and I got to go to the very first episode of Raw that was broadcast on Netflix, and as you can see there were a lot of images that I took away from that day. Some good, some not so good. But at the end of the day, for me, it was about my not quite 17-year-old son actively standing up and acknowledging the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, as he walked out. I thought that was just such a cool moment that I did not prep. We were sitting there talking, and just the music hit, and he stood up to the sky and raised that one up. I thought that was just real and cool. The next day was New Year's Evil from NXT at the legendary Shrine Auditorium here in Los Angeles. I'm not in Los Angeles right now, obviously. Oh, by the way, let me just real quick. The intent is to actually do this show live on Main Street, whether I'm recording it for later or actually going live every Monday at 4:00. Time will tell, but for now, this is going to be the background because it's Main Street Musings now. It's no longer Meach's Musings. It's Main Street Musings. So one way or the other, we will have Main Street USA behind me. Anyway, at the Shrine Auditorium for NXT New Year's Evil, ran into a long, and I mean, I didn't realize how long he and I have been acquainted. 23 years next month. No, 23 years already, because we interviewed him in 2002. But Ryan Katz, producer for WWE, former talent at XPW, Wrestling Society X. Ryan has worked everywhere there is to possibly work, and so appreciative of his friendship over the years. And he's just such a great wrestling mind, and just an overall really decent dude, which you don't find a hell of a whole lot of wrestling. So I was glad to see him. He gave me a little opportunity to kind of have the camera view. I got to stand a little bit, toward the back of the shrine and see all the goings on. It was a pretty cool experience. So thank you again, Ryan, for that. A year ago Wednesday. Pretty cool. January was also good on the personal front. Back with the company, approaching that year mark now. I cannot, people that have watched me over my 23 years doing this crazy podcasting, streaming, broadcasting shit, know how important Disney is to me. So important that for Christmas, if you will, I received let's see if we can get to stay in the shot here, a Mickey phone stand from one of the residents of this house. So pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. I know the thing is wavy, it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, being able to go back to Disney and in a better role than I was, in a better department than I was, has been gratifying. And we'll get to what's been happening since then a little bit later with one of the pictures I have to show off. So January was good. January was a really solid start to the year. A lot of hope, a lot of promise, a lot of good on the horizon. So it wasn't so doom and gloom as the year became later. February, much of the same. Not a whole lot of work stuff like to speak of, but a lot of great moments at work. You see here 2 different visits in February where I got to sign in friends and family. My dear friend Marissa and my other friend, her boyfriend Phil, got to go in for I think it was their couple-month anniversary at that point. They were together 2 months. And then a few days later, Aaron and his wife, Caitlin, and Aaron's mom flew in for Aaron's mom's birthday. So I got to sign them into the park. Just so it's one of the perks that we get at being cast members at Disneyland, that we get to bring people in. It is a privilege. Let me be clear. It is not nobody's entitled to that shit. And it's a privilege for me. It's a joy for me to be able to bring people into the parks, and it's a privilege that I am grateful that a lot of my friends and family don't take for granted. Aaron's never asked, ever, when anybody I knew worked there. I was always the one asking when other people worked there, but he never asked once, nor did Marissa and Phil. And I was glad to make them a part of, help make their days, Aaron's mom's birthday and my friend's, I think it was their 2-month anniversary at that point. They've been together over a year. Pretty cool. Be a small part of their days. So that was neat. Also on the personal front in February, I was so just tickled for the kiddo. Got to ride on the Toyota Zamboni prior to the Kings game against the Vancouver Canucks back in February of last year. Darcy Kemper actually tossed a puck over the glass for him to keep. That's why it's a practice puck. It was one of the pucks on the ice during the warm-ups. So that was pretty friggin' cool. The Kings have been such a huge part of our lives for my entire life and even before. I tell the story now that my mom went to a game just a few days before I was born. It's wild to me that, she was, pregnant enough where she could have popped, right? And she's still going to a hockey game. That's our family, man. That's what we do. We go to Kings games. We go to the Forum and the Staples Center, the arena, whatever the hell you want to call it. So that's what happened. And it very could have easily been me being born with the help of the Kings team doctor. Who knows? But yeah, it's the fact that my son got to ride on the Zamboni and look up at the lights and the video and the Jumbotron and see himself up there was just too cool. I'm still waiting. This is not a pressure statement. I'm not trying to be an asshole. Once I get the B-roll footage of him from that game, we're definitely going to put that up on social media because that's just super cool. Much like my dad and I, when I got to hit the drum to signal the start of the period, and my dad got his new guitar, and we got to be up on the stage to do the thing. So it's a little surreal knowing that this is probably going to be the last season we go as season ticket holders. It's just my dad's not getting any younger. And both my parents are looking to retire, it looks like. So, it's one of those deals that we may not be going after this season. So to have stuff like that happen, even now, is still pretty cool. Chris, all is well. Glad to be back on the air. Thank you for chiming in with the comment. Things are good. Things are going to continue to be good if I have anything to say about it. Moved into March 1st, my birthday. Love that this happened on my birthday. I also went to AW Revolution and got to see longtime buds, Brett and Gil, at the arena, at Crypto.com arena. But March 1st up in Toronto was the notorious heel turn of another longtime friend, John Cena. And I think it's the consensus that, the heel turn, the moment was absolutely extraordinary and pulled off epically. The heel run, it just kind of was what it was, for being honest, right? But I'm happy for John. I'm happy that he, he even said it talking to Chris Van Vliet, Pat McAfee, and the like, that, it's not really on his terms. If he had his druthers, he would go forever, but he made a promise to us and to himself that if he ever got to the point where he wasn't, if he wasn't John Cena anymore, if he wasn't able to be that guy anymore, that he would step away. And he was noticing the slip, so he stepped away. And I admire that out of him for that. I really do. Just, sticking to your convictions, being a man of your word. It's a very rare thing in wrestling and in life nowadays. So to see him stick to his word and do his thing. JJ is in the house. Good to see JJ along for the comments, and the ever appropriate comment considering the setting, the wardrobe, all the things. And again, top of the hour, 5:00 out here in the West Coast, 8 p.m. Eastern. He and the team will be covering Monday Night Raw live on Netflix and live across our YouTube channel. So stick around. Don't turn them devices off. Don't go away and do your thing. Turn on Raw and do the thing, folks. Where was I? I was in March, which means we're here. In all the years I've been a hockey fan and a Kings fan specifically, I've never had the opportunity to go to an Ontario. Okay, let me phrase that properly. I've had the opportunity, just never went to an Ontario Reign game. Ontario Reign is the Kings minor league affiliate. So my sister and I went to a game out in Ontario, not too far from here, back in March against the Ducks affiliate, the San Diego the San Diego Gulls. So we got to enjoy that together. Later on in March, another long time, I'll call her an acquaintance, Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano in the Clone Wars and other animated renders of the Star Wars universe, also married to longtime Angels player David Eckstein. That's how I met Ashley. She unveiled a new clothing line based around Star Wars that premiered in the parks back in March. So I got to take a picture with her inside the old Starcade, the old arcade area over in Tomorrowland, and got to have a little time with her. It was pretty cool. So again, March was good. It's my birth month, so I try to make the most of every day, and March in particular. But April was great. WrestleMania was what it was. People have mixed feelings about WrestleMania. I enjoyed it. Especially the main events. I know people weren't all that thrilled with the aftermath of the Travis Scott involvement with John becoming WWE champion, or lack thereof involvement, I guess is more accurate, same with The Rock. But I was happy for my friend that he became the never seen 17. Overjoyed for Seth Rollins that he got that moment, and that CM Punk, who is defending the World Heavyweight Championship tonight on Raw, got his WrestleMania main event with his wise man with his friend by his side, Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns involved as well. So just a really cool mid-April point. But later in April, just an amazing opportunity to go to TNA Rebellion, thanks to our friend Attila. I got to sit behind the announce desk at ringside. The French announce team was off to one side, and Tom and Matt were in front of us, almost directly in front of us. It was really cool. Got to finally meet TNA president Carlos Silva. Wonderful dude. So grateful to him for bringing TNA back to SoCal. And I got to meet Frankie Kazarian's wife and a longtime favorite, Tracy Brooks. I've known Frankie, God, for 20, almost 26 years now. Never met Trace and never met the kiddo Rebel. So it was really cool to have his family at ringside. He should have won the damn championship. But he's champion now, and we'll get to that. And then because of where we were sitting, we got an amazing opportunity to go into a meet and greet with every champion on the TNA roster. Masha Slamovich, Moose, Heather, and Ash by Elegance, the Hardys, which was so cool, Steve Macklin, and yes, I did not say his name yet, but he does appear in this picture, the then TNA World Champion Joe Hendry. Just too cool to meet all these people, re-meet some of them. I've met the Hardys a few times over the years. Get to meet Ash, get to meet, again, Joe Hendry and Steve Macklin and Masha and Moose. I am so, it still humbles me every once in a while to be able to do things like that. Like, I've never sat that close. I don't have a picture. I didn't upload the picture. We were up against the rail the entire night. For Rebellion, Frank and I had a moment after the triple threat world title match, which we should have won. So it was just so gratifying. I'm forever grateful to Attila for getting us those tickets, for being able to go with her to Revolution and AEW, going to Survivor Series because of Attila. So I got to experience all three companies and a major pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call it, because of her. So Attila, I thank you. I salute you. Thank you, my dear friend. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna bring it real quick. Oh, okay. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's out of order. It shouldn't be there. It should be over here. So we'll put it there. So May was cool. Also in April, I got to interview Frankie Kazarian. Interview that went up the day of Rebellion. So that was pretty cool. In May, I got to interview another longtime friend in SoCal Val, who I've not had a chance to speak with at that length ever. I mean, we talked for over an hour, Val and I, but she hasn't appeared on any of my streams or NoDQ streams in many, many years. So that was really cool also. We got to catch up on old times and what she's been doing. She married a Brit and lives over there now. So I was, again, happy for my pal Val. On the work side, the personal side, I finally, after 2025 would have been the third year that I tried it, and I finally pulled it off. I was able to get to Disneyland on May the 4th, Star Wars Day 2025. Again, I went into my status as a cast member not having been a lifelong Star Wars fan, but I am definitely appreciative of the stories, the saga, all the lore that go behind it. Even as a lifelong Star Trek fan, the Star Wars universe is just so amazing. And what they've done at the parks with Galaxy's Edge on both coasts is just next level. Arguably the best thing Imagineering's ever done. And again, I've not been to Florida in almost 18 years, as far as Walt Disney World, but what I see at Galaxy's Edge here is just on a completely different level than anything I've seen as a guest or a cast member. So it's really cool to be able to go on Star Wars Day. And this is just two of the pictures I took. I mean, we took pictures, we took video. It was just another layer of amazing that I got to experience, both on stage and backstage. So it was a pretty cool deal. June was kind of quiet, and I'm okay with that. June, there's one for each side of my life, the wrestling side and the Disney / personal side. Every year we get an ornament that is labeled for the year that it's being addressed, and I realized that because of now being 2026, my parents started dating in 1976. So 2025 is part of 5 different decades of my family going to the parks at Christmas time. And I wanted to get an ornament that honored that. There was an ornament that had the 70th logo on the front, and the castle on the back was this blank adornable canvas. So we had that done. And then I got to finally attend a live episode of Insight with Chris Van Vliet. Got a decent picture with him there. I got a picture with him earlier in the year, but this one I like a lot. Got to meet his lovely wife, and got to meet Ethan Page, which was an experience. I wish I could have gone to see him interview Chelsea Green at Survivor Series weekend, but it was just it was above price range, number one. And number two, I had Dylan with me, and it was a 21 plus situation on that. I did see a comment. I'm going to get back to it. There it is. Michael, what up, Michael? Good to see you here along for this crazy ride as well. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. So then we got into July, and of course, July marked the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, July 17th. And it was just everything. It really was. We started the day, kind of having the park to ourselves as cast members. And, there I am with 30,000 of my closest friends, which is wild to me. But yeah, it's, yeah, that was right after Bob Iger and Josh D'Amaro, our company CEO and our experiences chairman, were on Good Morning America, ringing the bell on Wall Street live from Main Street. And we were all on Good Morning America, which is wild to me that I got to be on such an amazing part of an amazing day. And I see the comment there. Hi, Ed. Good to see you. You are more than welcome to send the $5 dailies every single time I am live. Just send me PayPal if you can help it. I get it a lot quicker, but thank you for tuning in, Ed. From there, that day went on. I got to the plush Mickey that you see in both pictures. Obviously, the one with Walt is the original, but I was able to be gifted a replica. This is a recreation of day one from July 17th, 1955, that I did with the same train, the EP Ripley, up on the platform at Main Street, USA. Just something, it may seem silly, I suppose. I don't know, but I was so overjoyed to get to do that. And again, just being part of that day was just so cool. Mickey then went up, the plush Mickey went along with me up to Toontown and back to Main Street to take pictures with Mickey and Minnie, just having fun, just enjoying the day. Got to see the show that brought a Walt Disney animatronic to life, telling his story, Walt Disney: A Magical Life. And the lady in this picture is not only the director of the documentary that went with the story, Walt Disney: Magical Life, she's also the granddaughter. That's Leslie Iwerks. She is Ub Iwerks' granddaughter. If you don't know who Ub Iwerks is, do your Disney homework. He is the co-creator of Mickey Mouse, along with Walt. He was the chief animator of Mickey Mouse in the early days. It was humbling to be in the presence of that level of Disney royalty and to see Walt's story come to life and to see a Walt Disney animatronic stand up and have the most articulation we've ever seen from that department. It was Maria at the time. It was fucking surreal. I'm not gonna lie, it was really cool. And I would not be a day at Disneyland for me without seeing my show. Got to bring along Marissa and Phil, my friend from work, Lindsay, and her boyfriend at the time, and Marissa and Phil's friend, my friend Dylan. A lot of their first time seeing Fantasmic, so that was pretty cool. Fantasmic has changed a lot in the last 32 years, but it will always be my favorite thing. So I'm glad I got to share that with my friends. And I'm getting a little choked up because I'm coming up to the end of July. And the one picture, the picture on the right of the screen is not from July, but these two pictures are the really hard things from this year. So you have to bear with me. Of course, the end of July, we lost Hulk Hogan. Um, it was arguably the hardest thing for me in my 35 years of fandom. I wasn't prepped for it. I was not ready for it. I'm being real. It was not something that I was even contemplating having to deal with. Um, Whatever people think of Terry Bollea, whatever I think of Terry Bollea and his last few years, and the choices that were made. Um, Hulk Hogan is why I'm sitting here. Hulk Hogan is why I was able to um, be allotted the opportunity to do any sort of podcasting and wrestling. Why Aaron has the business he has. It's without Hulk and Vince McMahon, none of us are doing any of this shit. So it was a personal blow. The other picture is me standing outside the house that I have lived in for 25 years with my family. Dylan was raised in that house, grew up in that house. My podcasting career was born and grew up in that house over 25 years, and we sold it this year. So I was encouraged by friends, family, and everybody to take that picture. Take the picture because you're never going to see it again. And even if you do go back and visit the property or go see, it's never going to be your place anymore after that. So I took the picture. I looked like shit. I felt like shit. My clothes were destroyed. I mean, God, it's rough. It's rough. No doubt about it. But I thought it was important that I did that. So I'm glad I was convinced to do it. So anyway, oh, fuck. Matt, I'm not right this second. I'm not doing good. I'm a little verklempt, but I'm doing great, dude. I'm glad to be back on the air. Glad to be back live with everybody watching as we go here. Just again, grateful to be back and doing my thing. Okay, let's cancel the doom and gloom here. All right, so August came along, and August was about balance. August 11th, I went to Disneyland, wearing my Hulkamania hat, and celebrated. Oh, I lost my light. Okay, we'll do that then. There we go. Hi. I wonder if that turned off because I was inactive with it, or if it was just being weird. I am doing this live, folks. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. There we go. Doop, 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 boop, boop. Whoop, too much. We're live, pal. There we go. Hi. Let's turn that one back off. There we go. Okay. Anyway, we're live, pal. Damn lighting. Charles, I appreciate that. I really do. I know I've not always, been the most popular person in the history of the world, but I appreciate you saying it. Anyway, August came along, and it was not just about Hulk and my brother's birthday, my grandmother's birthday that happens every year. My grandmother has been gone for over 12 years now, but August we got to celebrate some music and my friendships and just the amazing talent behind the people I love. I got to bring Ariel Belvalere on one-on-one and interview her. She is just become such an important wow. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. I merely do mean that. I appreciate. Wow. I need to stop getting choked up here. I need to get through this. Anyway, Ariel has become such a valued member of my circle. And she's just this ball of energy and positivity that I can't express enough how much her presence in my life brings out the positive in me. So it was really cool to talk to her for over an hour. I think we went over 90 minutes, if I remember right. We went quite a bit. And then she, at the end of August, had her first full album drop and celebrated her birthday with a show. The day after, my sister and her lifelong best friend and I all went to see Cyndi Lauper at the Hollywood Bowl as Cyndi wrapped up her touring career. It was one of her last two shows ever on tour at the Hollywood Bowl. So yeah, that weekend was amazing. And so I just wanted to make sure I showcase these pictures because I had such an amazing time both nights to get to celebrate with people I love, celebrate people I love with people I love. It was really cool. Also at the end of August, we had a very interesting development outside of the camera views that a lot of you have been told about or, had, heard tell of. And I'll just very simply say thank you to Kristen for the allowance of acknowledgement this year. It's been a very crazy, tipsy-turvy 13 years. But I wouldn't change it at this point. And yes, Charles, Cyndi Lauper should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I will stand on that hill, die on that hill. She deserves it 100%. More music celebrations in October. Longtime family friend Nikki Stevens, more recent friend, but nonetheless important, Rocky Rose, both on the same night, both in Hollywood. Had their various musical showcases. One was at the Whiskey. The picture of Nikki is right outside the Whiskey, a go-go, as a matter of fact. The one with Rocky is at the Lucky Strike bowling alley, which for you longtime Jeff Meacham viewers was the same site that Booker T had his live podcast after No Mercy 2017, I believe it was, where I interviewed Corey Graves and had a brief cameo with Renee Young, Renee Paquette now, of course. Really cool night, really fun night. Got to interview Dustin Rhodes, Booker T, LA Knight, David Arquette. It's just a cool night, but yeah, that's at the same venue. So yeah, got to see my buddies do their thing. It was neat. I enjoyed it. Let's see. We'll do these. Okay, so as we rolled through at the end of October and going into November, got to meet and re-meet some amazing people. Let me just throw this one up first. So, of course, longtime pal Maddie Neidhart had her memoir come out this year. I've always wondered if she would ever tell her life story, and she finally did. And it was pretty cool to be able to read that entire story as I was waiting in line to re-meet her. I had not seen Natty in person since SummerSlam 2012, so that was pretty cool. And in the process of reading her story and absorbing it, I was made aware that much like I did at a very, very young age, sorry, I had a little blip there. Her father, Jim Neidhart, also suffered a traumatic brain injury. So once I realized that was a thing, I walked up and we had a recognition, and then I just kind of hugged her tight and I said, I don't know if you know about my TBI and the fact that, Jim had one, your dad had one. And we just kind of like hugged there for a minute. And there's this big ass line behind us in the bookstore and nobody said a word. They just let us have our moment. I thought that was so fucking cool. And then Survivor Series weekend came here in not here, but I'm not in San Diego, but in San Diego. And I finally got to meet the Queen, Charlotte Flair. I'm so glad she's a babyface right now because it was a lot easier to root for her and be a fan. But she is just as great as I knew she would be. This was Friday night with Charlotte. The next day before Survivor Series itself, I got to re-meet Chelsea Green and meet Maxine Dupree, who incidentally is defending the Intercontinental Championship tonight on Monday Night Raw against Becky Lynch. So tune into that. Again, top of the hour. Simple Rival Studios. We'll get to their trailer in just a moment, I promise. But yeah, getting to re-meet Chelsea Green and meet Maxine Dupree, just super, super cool. No, I will not boo Charlotte. I will not boo Charlotte. She is awesome, and I shame you for that. No, it's a bad renegade. Anyway. I didn't love the picture in here because I've showed it ad nauseum, but again, Dylan getting to experience Survivor Series with me. First time he's been to a pay-per-view, I think, since SummerSlam. 2011. Yeah, it's been immense into pay-per-view, so that's pretty cool. It was a long time. Later, as we went into the holiday season, so hoop-de-doo and dick-ray-dock, as they say. The first picture in this collage is from, oh gosh, I want to say it was 2000, either 8 or 2009. I don't remember. I don't have a label on it. Forgive me. But I met this lady through the course of my time at the Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast in Santa Monica. She came in as a guest of one of our cast leads, longtime leads, whose aunt is on the same soap opera with her, The Young and the Restless. Flash forward to December of 2025, or November, maybe in November. And I'm in one of my new roles, which is a Main Street guest show operations cast member. And her family come walking through the bypass to kind of provide a shortcut, if you will, out of the traffic. Cameron Grimes. So thank you, Cameron, for coming to. No, not the wrestler Cameron Grimes, for those of you at home. So wonderful to see Cameron and reacquaint with her. It was really, really cool. It literally took me by surprise, took my breath away. So happy to see that she is still doing her thing and successful and thriving. So very cool. December finally came along, and as December do, got to take family and friends into Disneyland for the holidays. This is the annual family trip, the Meacham family trip. Myself, my dad, Dylan's been in the background there. Our dear, dear friend of more than 30 years, Jenna, another lifelong friend, and Nikki next to Jenna there, and her mom and her husband on the left of the picture, our far right. Their little girl had fallen asleep because it was so damn late, but yeah, got to do the family trip, even if it is just one more time. And then the week after that, my sister Teresa and I went in, did the picture. You know, it's so crazy. We didn't do one ride, not one ride or attraction, whatever you want to call it, the entire trip. We saw Mickey, we saw Santa, we did pictures, we did shopping. It was cool. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I really did. So that was my year for the most part. I do want to send out a couple of special, big shout outs. First of all, my friends, the Bella twins, who I had not seen in person at this point, it had been 14 years since I'd seen either one of them in person for anything more than a few minutes. Our mutual acquaintance and I have been to a couple of their podcasts, but we really wasn't. It was more of a passing, hi, take the picture and keep moving. Most of these pictures came out of events that I got to attend and hang out, including New Year's Eve, which is why all three of us in the bottom right look rather sloshed because we are. But just being straight with you. But I was so grateful to see Nicole and Bree this year as many times as I did. Considering I hadn't hung out with them ever, really. So that was really cool. And I am so grateful to the wrestling gods, no, not you, Bradshaw, that we ended 2025 and started 2026 with two of our friends, Frankie Kazarian and MJF, as TNA and AEW, respectively, world champions. Congratulations to two of the best ever. Two fans of mine, which, anytime a fan of mine gets any sort of recognition, I'm here for it. Let's go. It was really cool. So good year. We talked about it on Greg's show last week that, 2025 was a shit show. It was a very difficult year for all of us across the board. But I really wanted to focus on there was good in this last year. And it is my intention to keep the good vibes going, let the good times roll, as they say. With that being said, I'm going to go into our brief shills here. But before I go into my shills, as I said, top of the hour here, about 20 minutes from now, Monday Night Raw goes live on Netflix around the world, globally, coast to coast and around the world, baby. And there will be coverage from these folks at Simply Rival Studios.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And I know Noah's not here, so I'll say the obligatory line. At the Super Rival Studios, they celebrate all the combat sports, all the various sports programs, including Monday Night Football's playoff preview with our buddy Stepway Mike. But mainly, they are about all the wrestling. There you go. Thank you, Charles. Yes, sir. All the wrestling. All right. So as our ticker said here, as we went along here, the promise is to talk about what's coming up this month on the Jeff Meacham Network. Well, again, today's show, great example. Main Street Musings will be live, hopefully live. If not, it'll be live to tape every Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, or wherever you happen to watch it around the world here. We thank you at the Jeff Meacham Network. This month, January, is going to be super cool. I already finished the first one, and we have 2 more movies to watch and 3 reviews to record. But Meech at the Movies, I have been wanting to do this for as long as I can remember, and I didn't want to tread on anybody else's territory that did movie reviews, so I refrained. But this idea was really born out of a list that is ever growing, provided by my friends Aaron Rift and JJ Williams, of movies I've never seen that, by God, I need to see. So I did. I went through and made a whole list covering every week of this year, except for this last Friday, because last Friday was crazy. I was still pretty much hungover. Didn't have to work, which was nice. But this month, January, Meech at the Movies will be covering the Godfather saga. And my God, the first one, I finally got to watch The Godfather over the last couple of days. And holy shit, was that just everything I've heard over my lifetime of how amazing The Godfather is. They were not kidding. Can't wait to review it. Can't wait to record my review of it. So that'll be this Friday, January 9th, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, prior to SmackDown. Next Friday, again, the 16th, will be The Godfather Part 2. And I kind of wavered on this decision, but I'm going to review the more recent cut, The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, rather than the original The Godfather Part 3. The Coda is a lot easier to get a copy of. You can stream it on Paramount Plus if you want to watch the movies before I review them, because I don't know how many of you have actually seen the Godfather movies. I encourage you to watch them now, especially more now than I ever have. But I encourage you guys to watch them. And the fact that Part 3 is so difficult to acquire unless you buy a hard copy, and I know people are about hard copies, they go back and forth. I personally say buy hard copies, buy physical media, buy the things, folks. But because Part 3 is not so readily accessible, I'm going to review Coda. I will still watch part 3 because I do have the disc now. So that's in January on my side of things. Across both brands, the Greg Cherry brand and the Jeff Meacham Network, we are all about the Royal Rumble. That is Greg's favorite PLE, as you guys should know by now. And you know what? Yeah, Charles, again, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, do this by myself. Everybody should see the Godfather movies. Just make sure that you're age appropriate. They are violent, they are bloody, they are mob movies. Just saying. Anyway, Royal Rumble season is here. It is January, and with that, Greg and the Greg Cherry brand will be having the annual Royal Raffle Wednesday night, January 28th, as part of the Greg Cherry Show. Again, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific for that. And then on Royal Rumble Day, Saturday, January 31st, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. In addition to the Simply Reliable Studios live alternate commentary, for the first time ever, Greg Cherry and I will be live with our reactions. I told Greg, you don't need to do commentary. We don't need to play-by-play. That is Noah's domain and the team at the SRS. Let them do their commentary thing. We'll just react because the Rumble is about reactions after all. So yeah, check that out. That's all coming up in January across my channel here at the Jeff Meacham Network. It worked. There you go. And the Greg Cherry brand, of course. Greg Cherry Show every Wednesday night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And whatever pops into that crazy mind. The greatest wrestling trivia mind of all time, as a matter of fact. Just about 14 minutes away from 5 p.m. out here in the West Coast, 8 in the East, and every point in between. But Monday Night Raw, of course, going live globally. The year anniversary on Netflix. Women's tag titles on the line. Kabuki Warriors against Io and Rhea. The women's intercontinental title. Maxine Dupree against Becky Lynch. The World Heavyweight Championship. Braun Breaker and CM Punk. It is just gonna be an epic night. And if you believe and read between the lines of Adam Pearce's announcement about Monday Night Raw, there may be some walls breaking down live on Monday Night Raw, and we may or may not see one of the greatest of all time, the first ever undisputed WWF champion tonight on Raw. His contract's allegedly up with AEW, but his picture is still on the roster on AEW's website, so it is very hard to say what is going to happen. Cool. We're gonna not deal with that, but thank you. You have a nice day. That was weird as shit. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in this last almost hour. The return of the Jeff Meacham Network. We're not done by any means. No, nay. We've only just begun, as another alternative goat has said many times over the last 50 years. Thank you again. Don't know. I'm hoping to be on the No DQ review tomorrow. That is still in my plans. I have made my desires to be on that show clear with those that need to know. If you don't see me tomorrow, you will definitely see me this Wednesday night on the Greg Cherry Show. I'll be live from the Transit Center out here in Victorville because that's where I'm going to be at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. So if you don't see me tomorrow, we'll see you Wednesday. And of course, as I said, Friday, the first of my Meet the Movies, reviewing the legendary classic, The Godfather. And that'll be at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific this Friday until whenever you see me again. I'm Jeff Meacham. You already knew that.